Do you see me smoking this entire week? Sorry, I didn't mention hi. I am Raphael. I play the role as MrTacpans from World Vision Nebula 7D286, from within connections to the galaxy of 3033, 5281. Okay, and also within this world where we're called 2005. That's what happens when this all began. I'm going to stop smoking. Why? Because I don't, whether life goes on or if life ends tomorrow. I've seen people and I have felt the wrath of the cigarette, what it has done to me. Not only with this, it's sometimes when I smoke my hash and I use the cigarettes, I inhale and it hurts the cigarette within so deeply that I know it's not the hash, because when I roll marijuana, this never happens. When I roll hashish with the marijuana, this never happens. But when I put the cigarette in, it does happen. And I'll tell you one thing, from day one, since I've been here in a year and a half, and still nobody really knows me, I do not come out here with a lie. I have no reasons to lie. And if I did have a reason to lie, that would be because I'm going to be telling you the truth in the short future, but you have to live inside the realm I created for you. And if I told you it was a partial lie or a game, well, you have to figure that out yourself. Sometimes I will tell you, and sometimes I won't, because it's my book, and I know what the people like. They all want to be able to grab the dice and to roll it to the end of the table, only to have a result that is not conform with them. All that excitement. What good is money and gambling when did I get it? Did I get it? Oh, I want to throw the dice, or I want to throw the dice. And yeah, you're with your wife and with your friends and you're having a good time, but when you throw the dice, you still want to know the result. And whether you win or lose on the result, you're still in the hype of wanting to know. Doesn't matter what the result is. That hype, that extra hype for no reason at all in their life, that's killing us. It's a lost hype, because the money will come into your pocket, you will spend it again, it will go out of your pocket. Sorry about that, it will go out of your pocket. Okay? And so while you're spending it, some of us are going to say, I had the extra $20 in my hand, or 80, I was up 300, I could have won 400. Now all this after talk of the casino and the prepared to go of all the excitement when there's nothing you can win. Nothing that you can't win elsewhere. There's one sport which everybody takes part in. It's called the sport, okay, of capturing the almighty dollar. We go to work, we go to the groceries, we try to save money. We're always playing that game of money. That's why the casino will do some damage to all these people. Oh no, they'll say, I only go there once every 6 months, and it was so exciting, and just like I'm hoping for the Canadians to win, and oh, they don't lose, and I hope the whole game, so for 2 hours while they're playing, instead of being, oh yeah, they're in the lead, oh yeah, but I don't want them to have a goal now, because now it's 2-0, and now I want a shutout. Ah, fuck, they had a goal. Okay, let them win 4-1, 5-1. Made like the goal was nothing. They like gave it up for a reason. We're always trying to find a tout of reason for a good time. Okay, and that money, the money, okay, is an exchange item that lost its value. The only value money has, okay, is if you need to work for it, it means you have to work, and you need to work for it to get you the food. So those are your two values of money. But wait a second. If you had your own piece of land and your own farm, and you did everything on your own farm, but you need something other than your own farm, but you have nothing to offer the next person, but you have something to offer a person that has nothing for you. So you write it down in a book. He owes me this, I gave him that, we gave him this, not because no one's really supposed to help everybody out, but eventually when time, this didn't happen at the beginning, I gave my friend and he never gave me back, and I died. And this is noted in a book. And my father gave this family the same thing, and he died. And for centuries, we kept giving the same guy things for free, and he never gave us anything back. We needed to find something in between us that one can hold, something I need, so I can exchange it with him to give it to the other guy what he needs. So it's something in common we can all use to exchange. So they invent the difference. Was it called money? Oh no, this is the difference. This is the difference from what you took and from the leftover of what I couldn't give you because I didn't have it. So I'm giving you the difference, and it's this real old dollar bill. In fact, back then, this is what it was, okay? You had a dice, and everybody got a dice. It was worth 6, okay? And as you, like the coffee, you know when you get a coffee and they make a mark, 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 and you make a mark. Now the dice has to go this way because this guy can no longer use the money. The money is no longer good for him. He's self-sufficient in everything but one thing. And he can sell everything, but the money's no good to him. Money's no good to me. What are you going to give me the money for? In my world, it's not the money. What I need in my world is I need Uncle Sam to come in. Who is Uncle Sam? Well, it's what goes around comes around to begin with, the letter U. The N is the past of this world because N sideways turns to a Z. The 14th and 26th letter equal 40, and you've got the whole square board of Monopoly. And if you look at the name of a Monopoly, it goes on an angle and the board folds rectangular. The square board of Monopoly folds rectangular. Half the board disappears. And it could be that B and O in reading, okay, is where the next corners are. So instead of being in jail on a corner, now you'll be in a rectangle and you'll be on Reading Railroad. So reading must be good. No? R-E-A-A-R-E, it's us. Okay? We're dinglings, D-I-N-G. We're dinglings because the dingling comes in the gates of life, G-N-L, dingling. D-I-N, dinner, din-din. The I-world birth passage, 9 and 14. Total 23, and number 23, part of creation. The 9 and the 14 comes together where the birth takes the passage into this world. On roulette, it's the 14 red, which has in between the 23 and the 14 red, which is in between 17 and 20, which is 37. Did you know that? Let me explain to you how it works. 17 and 20 connect the two sides of the board of the first 18 and the last 18. That is the last black on that side. Covering to the first black on the second side of the board, which is the 20, it totals 37. Now, if you go below and above, below the 17 and above the 20, you have 14 and 23. Now, we're only talking the center of the board, and that's 37. But now we're going to go one step further. We're going to go to 26 black. And is it 11? And 26 black. Hold on a second. Screwed up somewhere. 17, 20, 14, 23. Okay. 11 and 26. Same center of the board. Both black. 26 is man in the beta world. Just an explanation. No marks in the center. Okay, but the 11, that's Sam, spirit, angel, man. Why? Because the spirit is the 19th letter. 1 and 9 is a 10. Okay, 1 and 0 is 0. So that's the spirit. And 10 has a 0 with it, which means complete life. And that's why we have the 0 and double 0 in roulette, because it's the constant life in which the remarks of this life being put together, I'm jumping off the 37, is on numbers 10 and on number 19 and on number 28. No other, because the added numbers come out to a 10, in which is 1 to 10 instead of 0 to 9. Backwards 9 to 0, which would be the same 10, which because we would go 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 2, 1, 0, 1, 0, 0, love. Okay, we're going to go back to 37. 3 ways to make 37 that way. Now we take the same center of the board, okay, that I just went in, connect 16 to 19 red, connect 17 to 20 black, and connect 18 to 21 red. The first two combinations are 35. The letters are S and P, standard and pours, spirit. The strongest connection, because it's on the left side of the board in the spirit world. The next one is a very big connection, but it's a connection where it connects this side and this side. They turn around. I don't know exactly in, turn with each other, if they're discs and they go around each other, whatever it is. Next two letters are 17 and 20. 17th letter is the Q. The 20th letter is the T. Shh, don't tell anybody. 27, okay? 37, right? Don't tell anybody. It's black. It's a secret. It's in this world. Don't worry about the red. Okay, then we go over to 18 and 21, which is 39 total, which is our birth. 3 creation of 3 is 9, our birth. Okay, but if you take the average in the center, 35, 37, and 39, okay, it equals out to 37, 37, 37. So we have 37, 37, 37, and we have 37, 37, 37. So between every 37, we have a 37 to the left of it or a 37 to the right of it. 37 and 37, 74. That is number of Christ, okay? And 37 and 37, because you'll have this 37 here and then the 37 here. Roman numeral effect. Left side to the middle, to the middle, to the right side. Okay, so then you'll have 37, 37. That's Christ again. So now you got 74 and 74. Is that what it is? 74 and 74 is 148. And that's the one spirit of the 4 angle. Of the 4 angle of the 4 angle. It's just basically the 8 is actually 2 more zeros than 0 actually is. 4 is half as 8. 4, 8, and 12. 4 and 8 is 12. 4 by 8 is 32 plus 12 equals 44, and that's the number for taking up space in this world. We are constantly moving and occupying space. If they put you in jail and you don't move from your room, you will be traveling thousands and hundreds of thousands of miles all the time. So you can never give up with Christ being in jail, because no, it is not stagnant. Your mind is stagnant. You follow Christ all around. This is like a choo-choo train. Choo, 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 choo. Anyway, so we got 37. Okay, 37 on this side, 37. The average was 37. The average was 3. We already used the center once, so there's actually only 5 37s. Okay, 5 times 37, 5 by 30, 150. 5 by 7, 35. So now we got the egg, creation, and 5 man. We're in the middle. Now listen to this. It totals 185. Is it I-85? Is it interstate passage going around one of the cities? 85? Is it the 85 miles an hour that Montana and Texas are all of a sudden going faster and faster, when the motto of the U.S. many years ago is stay alive, roll 55, and now they're going 85? Because that's what the universe asks for. If you want to do it and all your stuff flows, your thinking has to be 85 over whatever it is now. The percentage are always changing, because outside the universe it's always changing, okay? Because we're always moving into a new area. I don't know how it works if they're in the stars of the skies, meaning that, let's say we're traveling through space and we come into a place that's got very little visibility because of the ice, or because of the heat or the matter, or whatever's moving around. I have no idea how space works, but don't worry, because I know one thing about space, okay? In between this finger here and Mars, there is an in-between. My finger is actually, I'm touching Mars, because I'm touching the element of space that touches space, that continues on until Mars is being touched by me. Pretty little finger, eh? How much of Mars do you think I'm actually touching? The amount of Mars you're actually touching is the enlightenment within your own mind. The reason why I came on to make this cassette, and I know I'm going to go all around number 37, but I'm going to go all around 37. But my enlightenment is I started to write a little story to somebody, and all of a sudden my story seems to be enlightening to myself. And I could never do it unless I spoke the truth and saw the actual truth within, tried to understand my own vision. Why am I perceiving things so much different in this day and age than 10 years ago? I'm not the same person at all. But wait, there is something the same about me. I was always pissed off of injustice for the longest time, and I have shut my mouth, and I've gotten in trouble in many situations for opening my mouth because I kept it closed for too long, and then I would just burst it out, and then everybody's like all mad at me, but they don't actually see where it all started. You know, it's not when the guns come out and you shoot your first person that the war began. Sticks and stones may break your bones, don't forget, right? But the names, they're killing everybody. Somebody asked me what money is. And I mentioned it before, money is basically the difference. You see, the word money has a 72 letter count. Okay, 27 is the beta God, secondary world. Why is it? Because of this. Whoop, not that, this. Here's one group, and I'm going to try and see if I can help you to understand. And here's the other group. But what we actually do with this is pretend this is the Monopoly game. Pretend this is the Monopoly game. This is go. This is free parking. This is jail. And this is jail. You see the way this 6 goes all the way down this way towards this way, and it goes all the way towards this way, and there's no passage here because there's a blockade here. Okay? Should we be turning the corners? Or should we, whoop, sorry about that. Or should we be actually holding them this way? Do you think there's a difference or not? Let me show you something. You see 5? Look at 6. You see the way 6 is sideways to 5? Okay. On the other side, let me see, that's 2. You see 6? See in the down bottom corner, the 2 is at the bottom, but at the 4 on the other side, the 4 is there and the 1 is there. Well, hold on a second. And the 2 is there. You see the way the 2 touches that corner? And then on the 6, it touches this corner with the 3, all these 3 corners together. Okay, so it's a reason. I'm not going to explain to you all. I'm quite sure I can go very deep with it. I've done it 100 times, a little piece here and a little piece here. I can probably do the whole thing, but whatever I do, I'm hoping, please take this for note right now. Check my consistencies, please. Oh, please. Check my consistencies. Tell me where I said one thing in one spot and I said something completely different somewhere else. I need to know. Please teach me. Please teach me. Please teach me. If you notice something, it is a thought noted. For me, it's taught by me. If a thought is given to another looks at it, what are they actually doing? If you're not going to use it for anything, you ain't going to look at it, you ain't going to care. But when you look, you want to know why. In some way you care. The minute you bend over, okay, in order to look, you already care. So if you ever ask yourself a question, well, I'm not sure if I care, I'm not sure if I care. You know what, just for asking that, you do care. But the question is, do you care more about your ego? Are you more worried about your ego and how everybody's going to look at you? Don't be worried about your ego. You can look for your safety as long as you're not putting anybody else at harm. But don't look for your safety first if you put somebody else at harm. Now, if you can save someone from a situation, but you back out because of your own safety, judge yourself very quickly whether that safety is for you or it's egotistical safety. We're all keeping statistics, aren't we? Remember, like I mentioned 5 minutes ago, where we started taking notes on everybody for the money because some people were taking advantage of the system. You see, we ruined it ourselves. Whatever is today, we ruined. Because if we stand up right away for the matter in hand and we get it done right away, then we keep liberty free. We have to make sure liberty is spoken of every day. Even if it sounds stupid, liberty must be the Bible. And if we need to exchange items, money must become the other Bible. You have no choice but to make an exchange, because in this world, if we have a lot of land, I want to ask you a question. What do you think they did with the land hundreds of years ago? Did they get themselves 200 acres and only take care of 20 acres? Somebody has to take care of that land to make that land grow so somebody can eat. We all must be feeding somebody else. There shouldn't be one reason that nobody doesn't work in their own field to make their own food. Nobody should have an upper hand or a slave unless it comes from within their own family. The children will be taking care of the fathers when they can't go into the field, and the fathers will be taking care of the grandfathers when they can't go into their own field. And because we're working with money now and not our own crops, the grandfather goes somewhere else. Sometimes he starves because the kids don't look upon that in the future you have to take care of your father before you take care of yourself or that boat anywhere else, because it's your father who brought you over to where you are today. And without your grandfather, he wouldn't have brought your father and his grandfather. And this is over a period, okay, of the 9 lives of the cat. 225 years, 9 lives of the cat. The word of Jack, the number of Jack, 25. The passage of 2 and 5, the quarter, the antlers on the quarter on the Canadian coin. This is all about numbers, my friends, and how we handle the numbers within. Because we have to change in time when you're practicing, okay, and write up laws. You're not going to write up, well, while he's eating soup. You know, you go, the basic judgment of this law is why and because. Then we go to session and we have to find a definition that no one can break. When we make a law, it's a definition that no one can break. If the law is made where a definition within the law can be broken, the law is no longer good. It means it's taking two sides, it has an in-between, and there is no in-between with laws. There is no in-between. With the first basic laws, there are no in-between. First, we have to understand the 10 digits of our fingers, the 10 digits of our toes. There, we have something to count it for. We can compare the number to our toes and our fingers, and we have these primary 20 numbers, the first 2 double digits. In fact, let me go higher. Let me call it the 3 double digits, okay, because the piano says everything starts on 30, creation, but we all know that the beta queen, okay, of this world is 62, 262, but the reality of the queen's number, the queen of this world, is number 27 or 270, okay, depending on which level you're talking about, because it's 27x, right? Sometimes Y. Now, what letter is that in the alphabet? Y? No, it's Z. Okay, what placement in the alphabet is the Z? It's the 26th. And the Y? Well, it's the 27th. Wrong? Well, what? Wait, why am I wrong? Didn't you tell me to make a connection to everything? Well, after Z is sometimes Y, and then it connects the Z to the A because of what's in between, the 27th. Oh, wait a second, how does that work? Let me show you how it works. Does anybody know Rubik's Cube? Don't light my cigarette. How many cubes on here? How many face cubes are on here? 1, 6 sides. There's 54 face cubes on here. But how many actual cubes? Okay? 3, 6, 9. 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. Do you understand why Y doesn't exist? Let me show it to you again. Okay. You see 3, and it's 3 this way. So that only counts for 3. Okay. This one only counts for 3. And this counts for 3. 3, 6, 9. Now we're going to do the bottom side that I put on the top, and we get 3, 6, 9. We have 18 cubes, right? Now, 18 cubes. We haven't done anything else, right? Everybody's with me. I have nothing in my hand. Okay. We didn't do this one. There's 3 of them. 21. Now we'll do this side. There's 3 of them. 24. This one's the 25th. This one's the 26th. That's it. Right? What about the one that goes in the center that doesn't actually exist, but without the one in the center, the sometimes Y that connects this whole Rubik's Cube and its magic works through it, connects it, yet it's not there, and that's why we reuse the letter Y. Okay? Because basically, if you hold a Rubik's Cube this way, right, you can follow up from here, you can follow up from here, and then spread it out, and then spread it out, and you're creating the letter Y all around this cube. It actually is what keeps this world together. It's a way of keeping this world together. I sort of see the world in this fashion, broken up in this fashion. Like if there was an underworld, they would take this whole cube apart, lift this, spread this. Every cube would have its own place, right? And then inside this cube is man. YMCA. Da, 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 da. get my head examined. Had that done. You know what was really cool about being in the hospital? There was one thing I really liked, and I couldn't believe they took me seriously right away. I said, you know what? My heart keeps going boom, ba boom. But I said, it's all right. I said, it's probably Christ. 3 hours later, I got a stretcher out for me. Do you need a stretcher, a wheelchair? I go, no, what's going on? He says, well, you said your heart's going boom, ba boom. I go, yeah. He says, you should hear my ass. Asking the questions when my heart goes boom, da doom. Anyways, we all know why ass is supportive out here, because the ace card is supported all over the world. Everybody wants to have a jackass working for him, right? You think Jackass just came out of the jungle? Okay. You think Pin the Tail on the Donkey was just some plain ordinary game? Get it into you right now. You should be excited for every game you've ever played as a child. And for if you have children, you should be so excited because you're going to see what they're going to play. And that's our game. This is your tune. For those who are mothers now, part of the way that God works from within my own thought of what I believe may be completely different to others, is that he gives it to us in weird ways. And when you have a child, the more you help to do things with the child, the more you're going to see within the game there's something within your own life. Look at your life within that game you play, because it's within the games that we became people of who we are today. That is another tool to bring you back to the reality is we are no more than God's children. Because when we pass the age to adulthood, I mean, look at us. Look at the people that work. Take a look at the people that work. They're nuts. They worry all the time more about anything out there. They go home and they go, shh. But it's at home you have to worry. And they worry at home. And a lot of good men do worry at home. Others just want to go out, have a couple of drinks, get laid, and have a good time in life. But you know what? I wish I can think that way, but I can't actually think that way anymore. It's just so hard to think that way when I know in the next life where our kids will look at money and go, okay, how do we use this? They're going to say, how do we use this thing? Ma, what is this? It's money. We use it to buy things. How do we use it to buy things? Why are we using it to buy things? How come I can't just go into the store and tell the guy I'll give him a piece of paper and next week I'll come back and give him some of something I didn't have to start with when I came into the world? You know, that's why the $100 bill is brown. You understand what I'm saying? Because it's the comportancy of who you are when you came in, 10-10. You completed the third 10. The other part of the world was the fourth 10. That's the reason for the 4 dice. The train tracks, okay? The train track, is it the dice like this? Okay, where you can go from here all the way to here. How would you do that? How would you do that? Hold on a second. Find me the number 3. Okay. 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 Can we do it this way? You see, from go, you have the 3 dice. Free parking, you have the 3. That wouldn't work because you have 2 sides of 5. Okay, so you have to change it to it has to be changed to this or whatever. It has to be changed to this because go cannot go into the center. Okay, go can only go around. The 5 is because you're coming in from one side, going out the other side, and the 3 in the center bring you right into right over here, go to jail. Free parking, you go into the center here, you get free parking. But the pieces that you're missing right now is this. What goes in here, okay, is short line railway and Pennsylvania. And then what goes in here is B&O and reading. And then they come together, and that's how you get your 40 spaces on the Monopoly board. We talked about money. Money is the second part of the Bible. Okay, it's an exchange uniform. It's not supposed to be, it's a God in a way because it means it's a God of your word. But since we couldn't have our word because our word would no longer good, we put it in honor of God, the money. Because in honor of God, your word, it is your word that counts the most. And we just had the money to exchange it. And when they say in God we trust because it's the word of the man. But we have to use it with the money now because man no longer has the word. It's too bad, eh? Another little thing is They ran around splitting the C's and understanding what the split. You see the C here? C minus C? Well, it can actually look like a T. They're all C's. C, C. Not only is this a C, but don't you see 5 and 2? Look, 5 and 2 is right here. Okay? Here, we can actually just call it the U. Do you see the 5 and 2? Because I don't hear anybody saying anything. The 5 and 2 are in here. So, what other part of the book am I on? Oh, boy. I don't know. Has anybody ever seen this image before? It's the Magen David inside a dice cube. It says CH over it. Okay? Christ heaven. Number 37. Okay? And what that actually means is if you fold it over, the C goes over the H. And then you get Canadians hockey. If you don't think God had something to do with the Montreal Canadiens doing what they have done in this world, he definitely did. Or he gave it to the satanic people and said, do what you can with this team and then leave us in the dust and we'll see what happens. So what happened to the Canadians? So anyways, you fold it over, it becomes Canadians hockey. Was it good or evil that made the Canadians win 24 Stanley Cups? You know what? For me nowadays, I don't know which side took which, but they were a hell of a team. And so were the other teams, just like Detroit and Chicago. And for a stint, they had Ottawa in there. They brought it out with Boston. They picked up New York City. They got to Philadelphia. Would you like to know what happens now? That's the original 6. And that original 6 design starts in Chicago, goes all the way down to Toronto, makes the dot in the I at Ottawa, comes to Montreal, out to Chicago, into New York, and then standing by the Liberty Bell. It creates the Big Dipper. It creates half a heart. It creates half a hook. You know what happens now? Now that New World Order comes in, the rest of that line has to cut up through New Jersey into Ohio, Pennsylvania, and back into Chicago. And if you take a good look at the map of the United States over and over, you will see in Chicago, based on the lines, okay, hanging down in the state of Illinois, is a chicken upside down being hung. In Texas, one side is a mouse, which I think is the western side on the south against the water, and the other side is a chicken. Every single state, even the Mount Rushmore, they have a face, 2 faces right around Mount Rushmore. Okay, there's a bunny rabbit up in Maine. I call him the big hare, the spy bunny, but that's my buddy. Somehow I really like him. Ever since I knew he was there, I really liked him. You want to go out to Madagascar? It's a big guy like Groucho Marx smoking a big cigar and the steam is coming out all the way until it reaches the Australian islands. Down in China, you don't see much, but we already know what's under the Baltic. All right, I told you. The Baltic and the Mediterranean go together at the end of the game, just like they are on Monopoly, and therefore they're split between Go, and they're split between the 2 sides, I think, of Europe and the Baltic Sea of China or whatever that is. Then we go along, and we can take a look where, remember the chicken I was talking about 2 minutes ago? Well, forget about the chicken. What about Gruff the dog? You ever see him? Well, take a look as the dog, okay, in the Middle East, is pointing towards the water, okay, with that nose he has and the hair hanging down. On top, okay, he's got a big hat, just like a graduate student out of Turkey. That's what it would be in Turkey. You go down to Syria, Syria is right here. And you know what's screwed up? Israel is right here. It's the goddamn split. It's the wishbone on the chicken. How God did things like that. He knows it's going to be split apart there at the end. God knew this from the beginning because I see it on the map, and there's no way they put all those lines there for me to see it this way, that visible. Okay? If you go down towards Australia now, you can see a big, big, big velvet coat over and a hat on top of the Queen's head looking over the Australian islands or whatever you want to call it out there. Then there's the actual state and highways. Anyways, I never finished Rubik's Cube here. The 27th one is in the center. Now, if you had to take this and compare it to North America, the center of this would be Kansas City. Why? Well, because the highways tell me. Highway 70, Highway 35, half and half. 2 times 35 is 70, half of 70 is 35. Rubik's Cube starts there. See, it was all set up that way. God gave us all these. So there's definitely something happening between Ohio and Kansas City for sure. For sure. Dorothy did not walk the yellow brick road for no reason of all. She did not meet up with the Tin Man. Was there not a lion that was growling, but he had no courage? The Scarecrow, was he missing a heart? What was he missing? And a few others along the road, until all of a sudden they fell into the land where they all fell asleep. Just like we've all been falling asleep. Anyways, I'm going to show you this, and that. Or can I show you this later? I'm going to show you this. I showed it 5 times already. I like this. That's the roulette board. Okay? You can look at it this way. M and M. MX, XM. Now, if you don't look at it that way and you turn it this way, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. If these were all strikes, okay, you see 1, 2, 3 in a row here, 1, 2, 3 in a row here, 1, 2, 3 in a row here, and 1, 2, 3, 4 here. Okay, they're all in 3s and 4s. 3/4 are full. It's all a combination. This is the roulette board by any chance. This is the roulette board. This is 1, 1, 1. If you add up the numbers in the center here and you stop here, the totals number added in this spot here is 74. The average of the 2 sides is 74, and the average of the opposition sides from here is also 74. But the center core of everything is 20.5. Because one of the reasons for that is you cannot be more than 1.5 away from anything. So that's why you're at 20.5. Because 19, which is the spirit, okay, right, 19, which is the spirit, plus 1.5 is 20.5. If you go to 21, it's an explanation. Man is out of the egg before you reach the 1. Man comes out of the egg. The egg splits in half, and it becomes 5. You are one of the 5s. We're man 6 from a crazy world. I do not believe that we are on Earth, to say the least. Yeah, here's another one of the reasons for this also. Is 20.5 broken down into the 2 worlds, okay? This also breaks down to 5.125. This also, okay, is 41/4, which is equal to the Mediterranean. 20.5, half. 5 plus 5 is 10. 5 times 5 is 25. You get the full number. Not all numbers do that. And another reason for that, another thing I forgot to tell you is, you see this here? I'm going to try and show you one little thing. 1, 2, and in the in-between 3. So in basics, this is 3 by 3 because it has in-between here and then in-between here. That makes your 9, which looks like 10. Okay, oh, there's so much. I hope I didn't mess anything up. What did I hear? Ron Paul? For sure. There's nobody else but Ron Paul. But like I said, even if he comes in, there will be some sort of disaster. Why? Because if the feds are no longer the government, they're now like their own army. Somehow, I don't know how that really got done, but somehow isn't the president supposed to be ahead of the army? What would happen if Ron Paul wins, and then the feds who have the army say to the army sergeant, I mean, does the army sergeant, if I was the president, can I say to the army sergeant, don't go in? Does he have to listen to me, or is he the last word? Because if the army sergeant is the last word, then he should be the president of the United States. the last word of the country is the president's word. That's the way it has to be. Otherwise, we would have chose somebody else to decide on things, right? When it comes to top things, certain things can only be the president of the United States. But it would be pretty weird, because you know what's going to happen? Soldiers are going to shoot soldiers somewhere in between here, because some will be for, some will be against. Because if Ron Paul comes in and he speaks the truth, the soldiers will turn against each other 100%. I mean, if you really wanted this thing to work and go. And second, there's going to be another war of some sort. I mean, they have to make it happen. They got to force them, sort of saying, look, look, look. But it's never going to be us that started, and it'll never be the Americans that started. It'll always be somebody else that's forcing us. Oh, fuck. How stupid do you think? You know what? None of us want to really believe anything anymore. So we don't. Just let it be. We just know we're now working mostly on our own intuition. Thank God most of us broke away from that. Isn't it about time we work on our own intuition and try to vision of what's true and what's not true anymore? Anyways, if any group really, I'm just going to show you one thing. I think this is as far as it goes. This. Maximum 5 numbers. 2 on this side, 2 on this side, 1 in the center. Why? After that, it's a deeper explanation. It's the same reason for the 5 card. The same thing I did there is creating the 5 card. The same reason man doesn't need a brain here and here in the holes of our shoulder, but yet in the card, it shows us our hips have a mind on each side of it, right in our hips, because of the way this is. You see this here? There is nothing here on this side and nothing here. But on the 6 dice, it shows there's something here and something over here. Now, if we turn the 6 dice, let me show you this way. It shows you right in the center. We have our head, okay? But there's something on each side of us. That's not where our head is, but there's still something there, even though we see it as absolute 0 space, unless you count this 6 for actually starting right here. You see, if the 6 started there, it can now tell you everything that's in position. So all these dice have to sit somewhere on your body. I think they would call that sort of like the chakras or something. So everything's included. My friends, whoever watches me, if you don't know who Ron Paul is, do me a favor. Don't fucking watch me. Go watch Ron Paul, where the reality is truth, where thousands have taken into the streets, where the real live news media hopefully will soon to take them on. You'll see it's not just what I say. And what's the difference if it's what I say or they say? You must know that anytime somebody comes onto here, you're going to want to know more. You want to know more of the truth. Don't worry about the truth. Don't worry what they're doing with them. Don't break your head. Okay, not yet. Don't break your head yet. Just know. Just know. Raphael 7286. Did I have something else to say about 72 and money? I have to say something else about money. They have chicken quotas. They don't have any pig quotas. Yes, they created a sort of what they call an insurance on it, right? But really and truthfully, the only reason we need sort of these insurances and stuff is because if disaster doesn't happen today, and over the long period of time, most people will lose 20% of their animals, meaning if we lose 5% now, we might lose 40% later. But if we lose all our money in taxes, and this only happens in 6 years, we won't have enough money to save the rest of our pigs to continue on eating. That's like one of the situations. You know what I'm saying? So we see sort of need. I mean, do we need someone to help us save for this? Well, what happens if we do get unlucky? We should all look like, and we sort of really, as amongst ourselves, not governed, but amongst ourselves. But then if it's amongst ourselves, if somebody needs a pig, well, just come over, I'll give you a pig. Why should we throw all our money into the same basket of some sort? You know, so there's all kinds of weird situations and, you know, money, M-O, word. M-O in French is word. O-H-M, it's a vibration. They don't have the H there in money because they said Mahoney, right? Mahoney's the one who robbed. They don't always pronounce the sound of the H anyways. So how do you know how to spell money? Money. My name, mon name. My nose, a lie. Says my nose. Since I know about Pinocchio's nose, says I lie. Money, I lie. Monet, Ney, EY, total 30. Implicated again in creation. 72 count, again implicated in the same number for the two islands, very important. So we do know the substance that helps to create the difference between buying and selling is called money. And somehow it has to have a bigger value than the actual value. Maybe something you can never lift. You know what I'm saying? Just like keeping the pennies, because the pennies are copper and the copper is always can be used for something. So if there's a market to sell what the value is, it's good. So there's a copper market, so let's make all our money be worth what the copper is. The copper is not expensive enough. So there's a silver market. Will there always be a silver market? Has there always been a silver market? Well, since inflation goes up, our money's always going to have a worth of that silver. So your money always has to have a value. Since you're giving it a high value in its name, in its use, and everything else, it's got to have a valuable, okay, that you can't connect to. Maybe you own, the minute you have money, you own part of a house of some sort. So if you never have money, you get to sell the reality of that house. You understand what I'm saying? You own that a part of that house. The house was worth 10,000 when you got into money. Like every time you go to the bank account and put money in your bank account, it all gets thrown into something that's going to retain its value forever. Okay, but right now I find that the gold, what happened to it is it's over its value right now, and it's always got to be market value. I mean, if I use gold and I need gold, well, gold shouldn't be $6 an ounce, and it shouldn't be 2,000 an ounce. It should be whatever the value that we can always sustain and use this element to continuously use the exchange between me and you. And don't forget, when you put your hand in your pocket to give somebody money, that money is no longer in your pocket. There's a chance you're not going to get it back. So you better get upset right now before you even gave it. Then get upset when you give it, and then get upset again when you don't get it back, only to lose your time worrying that somebody else should go collect it for you, and now you're not doing a nice thing because you gave it to him, you should collect it yourself. That's what happened in today's day and age. Because we don't do it directly with anybody, we're not as embarrassed as somebody else did, because we're never sure, and we really don't care at any point in our present future anyways, because that's the way John Travolta showed it in that movie that he got killed at the end. That was a fantastic movie. I don't know what movie it is. From anywhere we are to anywhere we go, like I said, the 10 Commandments, one of the 10 Commandments should be that we're able to communicate. It's a commandment to communicate with others, and it should be a communication. And a commandment should be that all man should act sane in front of others in order to have this communication adventure in the life of love and war and despair, where all is lost and regained again through truth and liberty upon, I endorse Ron Paul. Is that what you say? I endorse Ron Paul. What the fuck, man? I think the guy's the best. I don't think that word is bullshit. Just say he's the best, and I think he should win. I think he should win. I think he should win. Holy fuck. There's going to be cheating, and ballot boxes are going to be toppled over. There's going to be 2 big storms before. And oh my God, I forgot my wallet at home. What's going to go on, man? Try and spread it out, man. Anytime you come on here to say something, if you're on Ron Paul's side, don't worry about it. Take that chance to say, okay, on my site there were 14 yeses and 2 nos, 18 yeses and 1 no. We're all going to know. We're all going to know. Just keep putting it out there in 2 words. Right now, I have 1,500 views. I have 800 monetized. Out of those not monetized, I have a certain amount liked. I take all the liked against the disliked, about the in-between number of views, which is 58%, more views than not. Okay? And out of that, Ron Paul is closer between 69 and 72% of those. That brings that 58% up to 66%. Of my totality of views, because I'm always shoving something of him in there, and usually I don't get anything back, and when I do, I always I just know. Oh, I can make it up. What the fuck? I like Ron Paul anyways. Raphael 7286, and I made this whole thing up.